All right, internet, word of caution. If your God never, ever, ever disagrees with you about anything, it might just be an imaginary friend and not a real God. Sorry. Um, the God that always perfectly reflects your opinions is really just sort of your heart, not your God. See, your God speaks to you through the scriptures. Your God does actually reveal good and evil, right and wrong from the scriptures. And it brings about all kinds of frustrations because apparently we disagree about some stuff. It's bugging me. This whole coronavirus, I am pretty sure I could do a better job with this than he who made the heavens and the earth, even though I can't use the fancy settings on my washing machine. Still, I got this. Like, let me be in charge. Trust me. The scriptures recognize that your opinion and God's opinion are going to differ. And they remind us that the maker of heaven and earth happens to be smarter than us. They remind us that the thing that never actually disagrees with you is called an idol, not a God. And I say this because it actually gives you the freedom then to acknowledge that you disagree. The Psalms are full of lament. One of my favorites is Psalm 13, where David cries out, "How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever?" Because even as the scriptures reveal a God whose thoughts are not our thoughts and his ways are not our ways, they also describe a God who actually manages to love sinners who can't quite come to love themselves and each other. The scriptures paint a picture of a God who doesn't stand far back when things are falling apart, but dives headlong into the mess, even to bear them upon a cross, bleed, and die for sinners like me who throws temper tantrums because I can't have my way. In the middle of all of this stuff going wrong, when you were pretty sure God might be messing up, remember that yours is not the God who stands back from trouble. Yours is the God who, as odd as it was, managed to save all of mankind through his death and resurrection by becoming man, dying, and rising from the dead on Easter. Of all the things that are wrong, then, we turn to the scriptures to find out who God is, to find out what his will for us is. And then when the scriptures are quiet, like I checked for chapter and verse on coronavirus and didn't quite come up with too much, we actually get to fall back on the simpler stuff. The promises that we're actually made for all of these things. Like the God who would never leave us nor forsake us, the God who will carry us forward unto life everlasting, even if it has to be through the tomb. Disagree with God, by all means, but do so in the kind of faith that actually calls out to him and reminds him of his promises to be with you, that actually looks for help where it's promised to be found, not because everything's going the way that you think it should, but because you recognize that the God in charge of all of it loves you so much that he was willing to die for you. And so he's not dropped the ball just yet. In the middle of all the things that are wrong, recognize that a God is actually better than an idol. Because as much as I want a God who's never quite disagreed with me, um, times like this make me remember just how helpless I am, just how many poor decisions I've made, just how little I can actually do to get my life back to normal. But my God, he's already conquered death, and he's done it for me, and he's done it for you. Be at peace.